Eric, why don't we jump right into this as we get into high school football? As there were games, every team that we cover was in action. We didn't have video streams for all of them. Mountain Crest was over at Deer Creek. Couldn't quite make arrangements to get people there. We were really spread out. It's non-region, so everyone is occupied, so we couldn't get to that game. Although, to be honest, that was the least interesting game out of everyone.
Right. If there was a game to maybe punt on, that was the one.
Yeah.
UHSAA has instituted a new mercy rule.
Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't realize there was an actual end the game. I thought that was a mutual coach's decision to end things.
No. So they've always had a mercy rule to some degree,
like
where
a
they
running
let the clock keep going. But they've modified it to, if you're up by a certain amount, they just will call the game. I mean, obviously, it's in the second half. I have to go up and double check exactly when it takes into effect.
It was at the.
But I think it's after the end of the third quarter.
So apparently, it's a 44-point mercy rule. I think it kicks in because they didn't play any of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so I think it's at the end of the third. So the similar thing happened with Box Elder. They had a mercy rule game as well. They just rolled through their competition. They ended up beating Deseret Peak, former Region 11 team.
Current Region 11 team.
Current Region 11 team, and blew them out 49-0. And that game ended because of the mercy rule.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of good because, like, if you're up by that much and you're just doing a running clock, just might as well end it. You have mercy rules and things like softball and whatnot. So I think it ends up being for the best. Another game that, well, we had a video stream of this, but there were some audio issues. I think the video of this game is up on Cache Valley Daily if you're so inclined. There isn't an audio, so we didn't really pull clips because it's harder to do that over the airwaves unless we wanted to narrate the clips. But it was heard over the airways just because we did some workarounds there. But Ridgeline taking on Morgan. This was an interesting game just because you have one of the best teams in 4A versus one of the best teams in 3A. So it's always kind of interesting to see the best of different classifications with these two teams. But Ridgeline ends up pulling away, though not without some early resistance from Morgan. For instance, they got the first touchdown of the game on a pick six. The new, I believe, freshman quarterback, Crew Cox, I think he's a freshman or sophomore. So it started things off a little rough for him, but then Ridgeline started piling it on starting at the end of the first quarter, then had a 21-point or 22-point second quarter, piled on a couple more touchdowns in the third quarter. Ridgeline clawed a few points later in the second half. But this one ends 42-28.
Yeah, and it wasn't that close. Those points for Morgan came kind of in garbage time.
They were down by 4 touchdowns when they put up a couple of quick. It was another pick six, but they had back-to-back touchdowns, but that only drew them within like 3 scores by the end. And Ridgeline, the second, like, Morgan scored back-to-back touchdowns late in the third quarter. Then the next drive, Ridgeline pulled ahead again, another touchdown. And then Morgan gets their final points to make it 42-28 with 10 seconds to go in the game.
Yeah, I know Ridgeline is breaking in a new quarterback. He's a little young, a little inexperienced. 2 of the Morgan touchdowns came off of pick sixes. But that Ridgeline offensive line and running attack is still superior than a lot of the teams that they will face. So that is the time to break in a new young quarterback. But the defense also played well for the Riverhawks, but there may be a few times where they need to kind of cover up some gaps as Cox gets his feet underneath.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of they did. Like, they basically allowed really one touchdown kind of the entire game. For the most part. 10 seconds left. They gave up a touchdown when they're up 42-21. But first touchdown of the game is scored on a pick six for Morgan. They don't get an offensive touchdown until 3 minutes and 32 seconds left in the third quarter. So they were pulling their weight big time there.
Yeah.
And then they gave up a garbage time touchdown to the Morgan offense. So, yeah, it was like when they who was they? They had a 4-year starter before Crew Cox or something like that. So like they've had these freshman
Nate
quarterbacks
Daly
before. Yeah, it was Nate Daly. So They've gone through these seasons where they're breaking in a freshman quarterback, but as you said, Noah Fiafia, elite running back. So whether or not you had a freshman or a senior quarterback, you're going to lean on Noah Fiafia.
Yeah.
So,
right. Yep.
So other games, let's see. Bear River went up against Ogden. I guess we'll go in order of least to most interesting. Of course, there were 3 really interesting games. 2 of them went to overtime. One of them didn't go to overtime, but it was a thrilling fourth quarter. Bear River went up against Ogden. It was another 4A versus 3A. Of course, Bear River kind of middling 4A. Ogden kind of middling, maybe slightly below average at times in 3A. So certainly some potential for some interesting things here. But Bear River, like both teams kind of got off to a slow start. Nobody scored in the first quarter. But then Bear River started to jump on. They go up. They score 3 touchdowns. 1 touchdown in the second quarter, 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. Ogden also got 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but then Bear River was still up by 1 touchdown. And then they pull away in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, had some exciting plays in the second half, some explosive plays, and we like to describe those as plays of 15 yards or more running by a running back, or 20 yards or more by a wide receiver, and they more than surpassed that on a couple of plays by Eli Brager.
Yeah, 4 receiving touchdowns for Eli Brager. Preston Wilkinson had 5 touchdowns. We'll play a couple of these. The first of these, this is one that came in the third quarter that put Bear River up by 2 touchdowns.
Corners now drop back deep. Wilkinson wants to throw. Here's the pass over the middle. It's complete to Brager. Makes one guy miss. He makes a second. It's a sprint to the end zone. Touchdown, Bear River. Eli Brager.
Yeah, so that was from 49 yards. And then later in the game, he got in from 54 yards. Though it was, it was Trent Carter and Josh Tyre. And Josh, I included this part because he almost kind of called this next play that they had as they were commenting on the game.
Do you know what I'd call here, Trent? I would call, put your receiver on the outside, fake like you're going inside, and then drop back to the outside and throw it over the shoulder, and I think you could be open on the outside.
3-step drop. Wilkinson throws deep down the right side. He has Brager. My goodness. Hits him in stride. Touchdown, Bear River.
So, yeah, Josh Tyre was like, I think you should put the receiver on the outside and just throw it deep. He did have the fake inside, which they didn't do, but they basically they hurled one deep, and that put Bear River up, I think, 29-13. Wilkinson added another 18-yard touchdown to Brager in the fourth quarter. That gets you the final score of 36-13 as Bear River pulls away from Ogden in the second half.
Yeah, great to see Bear River get out to a really solid start. New head coach, you see the Coach Craig Ander era getting underway for the Bears, and a nice first win to get them started.
So let's go to the game that happened at Juan Diego High School, though Juan Diego was not necessarily involved. Though I do have to give props to Juan Diego for this Logan at Summit Academy. Summit Academy, their field is still getting worked on. They're behind schedule, the construction crew there. So they kind of had a last second get up to Juan Diego, and they were fantastic to work with, really helpful there for both sides, really. But Summit Academy hosting the Grizzlies. Summit Academy has a lot of transfers coming from like 5A schools. They're a 2A school.
Oh, wow.
They're bringing in some transfers from some 5A schools. They went to the semifinals and the playoffs last year in 2A. They lost to the eventual champions. This is a tough 2A squad and a Logan team that is trying to find its footing as a program again under a new head coach, Justin Hughey, as they're just trying to find something. And it didn't start off particularly well for the Grizzlies. They go down 8-0. They get one back they get a field goal back to go down 8-3 at the end of the second quarter. And this was a game of kind of frustrating moments, I'll say. I don't want to harp on them too much. They fumbled twice inside the 5.
Oh, no.
One of them was so they're on the goal line. They're down 8-3. They're on the goal line after this amazing play, and I got to show this play because it ended up being the bread and butter play of the game for KVNU. We'll call for the bread and butter play of the game for Skyview coming up in a little bit. And we'll probably have to have people texting because I don't think our phone lines are working.
Oh, they're not?
I haven't noticed them being. Are they still working?
I think this phone works. We can call out.
We'll try it. We'll try it out.
Yeah.
In a minute here. When we call for the bread and butter play of the game, we'll call for these. But this was the one for KVNU. It's already been sorted, I'm pretty sure. Amazing play by Jace Pingree for the Grizzlies.
As Favero will go with an empty set here. 3 wide receivers to his left, 1 to his right, or 2 to his right. Favero to throw, finds Pingree, caught, absorbs a hit. He stays up. The referees haven't blown the whistle. He stays up. He's on the run, trying to cross the field, getting around another guy, across the 25, across the 20, inside the 10, the 5, pushes all the way inside the 5-yard line.
I tell you what, he's... Yeah, so Jace Pingree almost goes down, doesn't, runs 41 yards, but it was like the play after that. They fumble.
Oh, no.
So they had a chance to go up in the third quarter. And then Summit Academy they drive the other way. So after recovering that fumble, they go the other way, score a touchdown, go up 14-3. And that's a pretty demoralizing thing. But Logan rallied back, and on their next drive, they went down and they scored their first touchdown of the season.
Favero from the gun this time, 8:02 to go, 2nd and goal from the 1. Favero to throw. Throwing the outside route. Roy Sargent catches it. He's in. Touchdown, Logan Grizzlies.
Oh, boy. That was Yeah, so Roy Sargent, one of 2 touchdowns he scored in that game. I don't have a clip of the next one, but that was the first one. They go up they go to 14-11. Roy Sargent catches another touchdown. The Grizzlies go up 18-14. But then Summit Academy breaks off a 46-yard run, puts them in position to score. But the Grizzlies get them to 4th and 20. 4th and goal from the 20. Summit Academy converts, scores a touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
They go up 21-18.
Back and forth game.
So with 2 minutes, 47 seconds to go, the Grizzlies have the ball. They drive down, and you think 2-minute drill, you're going to pass? No, they ran the ball in almost every single play. They drive down inside the 5-yard line. And there's I think there's about 17 or 18 seconds when the play goes, and they're on the 1-yard line. They don't have any timeouts left, so they got to make something work if they run it. You can hear me thinking they're going to pass it because of the situation, but they had a different idea.
And they're going to say he was out of bounds. They haven't started the clock. So give Mason Birch about 4 yards there. And
do it again.
You got
the same play.
You got to throw a pass play, I think. They're going to run a sneak.
He got
it. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Grizzlies.
Wow.
So, yeah, they did not throw the ball. They
did not
ran
listen
the
to
ball.
your advice.
Yeah, they didn't listen to my advice, which is
Thank
probably
goodness.
a good thing. Grizzlies go up 25-21. They closed out 17 seconds on the clock after they scored. The Grizzlies open up this new era under Justin Huge with a 25-21 win over Summit Academy. Gritty win. There were some mistakes early on, but they overcame every single one of them to pull off the win.
Great. Certainly you don't want a game to be close like that if it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, they should have won this game like 38-21.
Really important coachable moments for a team with a new head coach to say, okay, look, we got out there, we got away with one, but now we know how to be a little bit more dialed in, a little more disciplined on these areas, because there may not be very many other games like that give us chances to still come back after making those kinds of mistakes.
So on to our next couple of games. We'll see if we can get through these two. We're coming up against a break here, but Green Canyon against Provo. This was another game that came down kind of to the last minute in the fourth quarter. Very defensive game. The Green Canyon, I think they had 11 net yards of rushing and 143 passing yards. But they managed to get themselves in position just outside the red zone, kind of midway through the second quarter, and Ethan Monk came up with a big play, connecting with his wide receiver. Make sure I got the right play queued up here on our highlight reel.
2nd and 11 from the Provo 27. Monk from just inside the left hash marks. Single back to his right. He's going to roll right off the snap looking for a pass. Peremski on the goal line. Underthrown. Peremski grabs it and sticks it over the goal line. Touchdown, Green Canyon.
Yeah, so Green Canyon gets their first touchdown of the day. Well, technically only touchdown of the day.
Yeah.
But they get the PAT. So they go up 7-0 in the second quarter. Provo pulled one back in the third quarter, a 4-yard run, but they missed the PAT. So Green Canyon's still up 7-6. They tacked on a field goal to make it 10-6. But in the last couple of minutes, though, they still didn't have the job done. Provo was driving. They got down to their last gasp, 4th down and 10.
4th and 10. Empty backfield for King. Motion left to right. King looking to throw. Left side floater, way overthrown! Through the...
Yeah, so just kind of a poorly thrown pass, or really just a confusion there, but Green Canyon, good defensive stand. It was 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, then 4th and 10. They held them in their own territory as Provo was trying to drive, and they had a decent game through the air. Their quarterback, Tamatoa King, he had 249 yards passing.
Wow.
Green Canyon did pick him off once, but he had a decent game through the air, but the Wolves managed to completely stuff them in the end and pull away with the 10, or well, not really pull away, but come away with the 10-6 victory over Provo.
Understand things got a little spicy in the stands.
A little bit.
Some of the parents or fans of
course, I've seen
the respective schools.
I've seen some other headlines involving Provo, or maybe it's different Provo High School, but maybe one of the, I don't know. We don't need to get into all that.
Yeah, but regardless, it was a good win, a gritty win for Green Canyon. Defense really winning the day despite Provo trying to get up and down the field, but really solid victory there for Green Canyon.
So final game to go over here, and it was the most exciting one, arguably, or I really loved the Logan game, to be honest. I thought maybe there's a little bit more scoring and back and forth, but this game between Skyview and Park City could not be settled within 4 quarters. They needed overtime. Of course, Park City actually got things started with a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. Nobody scored in the first half. But Skyview, they managed to get things started in the 3rd quarter with their offense on a pass from Peyton Palmer to Tucker Stokes. I got to make sure I got this one lined up properly.
So Skyview 1st and 10 on the 18 going in.
So Stokes throws it quickly on a wide receiver screen. They've got it! 10-5, touchdown!
It's Hurricane John Newbold and Casey Carlson there
always
celebrating.
Exciting. They're a fantastic duo there. So yeah, touchdown there, and that would be the only scoring in regulation for Skyview. Park City only had their 1 touchdown in regulation. Park City went first in overtime. They got a 35-yard field goal, so by the sound of the length, they didn't really go anywhere. They might have even gone slightly backwards on their offensive possession in overtime. Or I guess they would have gone about 10 yards forward, or something like that. I don't know. They had to kick a 35-yard field goal.
Yeah.
They didn't get very far,
they went far
down the field. Skyview, they got themselves set up on the 7-yard line, needing a touchdown to walk off or a field goal to tie it.
3rd and 1, here we go from the 6-yard line. 3rd and 1, Skyview in shotgun. They run a man in motion. They're going to run to the left.
Nice.
He's got it. 1st down.
Get in.
And touchdown!
Touchdown, Skyview wins! Skyview's going to win the football game.
So yes, Skyview did in fact win the football game, as Kason Carlson said. Walk-off touchdown from Peyton Palmer. Fantastic stuff for the Skyview Bobcats as they cap off a undefeated day for Cache Valley teams, as all the teams that we cover here in our family of radio stations won their games over the weekend, which I can't remember the last time that happened.
It's been a minute. Yeah, Bear River, Mountain Crest, Skyview, Green Canyon, Logan, Ridgeline, they all came away with wins. Obviously, some a little more exciting than others. You can include Box Elder. They got a nice win in there as well. And what's interesting about the schedule this week is that there are going to be a number of familiar faces and games that opponents that were on the schedule last week will be on the schedule this week, but for different teams. Like Park City, they just played Skyview. Well, this week they're going to play Ridgeline. Morgan last week played Ridgeline. Well, this week they're going to play Skyview. They're just trading teams for their opponents. But really exciting week last week for our local high schools. And you can go back and watch a lot of these games, replays. There's some photo galleries of some of them as well. They're all archived. And go check these out as high school football season is definitely underway.